welcome back to the American Dream. The entrepreneurial journey always has its ups and downs. Imagine the 2008 market crash causing you to lose $100 million. That's the story of David Meltzer, who joins us on the American Dream. And there's a lot more to your story as well. Written books, keynote speaker with Forbes magazine right there. So got a lot going on, man.
Yeah, a lot of fun, but it's part of being an entrepreneur, right?
Yeah, so you've had your fair share of ups and downs. I know you write about it in your book, so I'm not sharing anything that you haven't personally, publicly shared. But for anyone who doesn't know you, give us the story. Where did you start? Take us up to 2008.
Just real quickly, grew up poor, wanted to be rich so I could buy my mom a house and a car. Ended up making a choice out of law school to get into technology. Worked for West Publishing. In 9 months, made my first $1 million. Bought my mom that house and the car.
What year was this?
In 92.
Okay.
And then by 95, we got bought out for $3.4 billion. Set me in a different branding mode to brand myself as a technology guy.
Wow.
Went up to the Silicon Valley, raised $169 million for a company called EveryPath, wireless proxy server space, then got hired as Samsung CEO of their first convergence device, which we now call smartphone. So I was the CEO of the PCE phone, the world's first CE device.
Wow.
And made a ton of money. They kicked me out because the company got too big. I was out over my skis. Started investing in technology, real estate. My dad was a commercial broker. So I ended up with a golf course, a ski mountain, 33 properties here in San Diego alone. And I overextended myself, thought I could always borrow against the equity I had. The banks went under, and then all of a sudden said, as I was in lawsuits too, right, liquidating my ego, that's my terminology. All of a sudden they said, hey, you got millions of dollars, but you can't have it. I learned a valuable
So you have all
lesson.
this equity in real estate and you can't tap into it.
Can't tap into it.
A lot of people went through that. I mean, even on a smaller scale. I mean, individual homeowners and everything else is a tough time.
Yeah, so I lived here in Rancho Santa Fe. I just made a conscious decision not to fight it. I wanted to pay back everybody that I owed because I figured liquidating the properties through bankruptcy would pay any debts I had. So I actually came out of bankruptcy in a moral position that I felt comfortable with. But during that process, I met Lee Steinberg, the most notable sports agent, became CEO.
What year is this?
This was in 2008.
Okay, so market crashes. You're going through all this, this liquidation, this BK.
Yeah.
Meet Lee Steinberg.
Lee Steinberg. Within 48 hours, he hired me as his COO. Within 6 months, I became the CEO of the most notable sports agency. Most people know him from Jerry Maguire.
Sure. So explain this. How do you go from tech to a sports agency and be able to carry the skill set over?
Great question, because most people want to be Jerry Maguire.
Sure.
Right? And they still come up to me. I always focused, because I went from being a lawyer to technology, I always focused in on skills, knowledge, and desire. I played football and baseball in college. You know, I really a sports guy. I always dreamed of being a sports agent. But for me, I had developed skills. So when I talked to Lee Steinberg, I wasn't looking for a job. I was representing a friend for a reality show called Showtime.
Okay.
But I talked about my skill set, my administrative, my organization, my operation skill set, my ability to raise money, as well as my technology background, and it caught Lee's eye. And so out of all the thousands of resumes that he had to take Jeff Morad's job, the old owner of the Padres, who was COO of Lee's, I got the job.
Wow.
Because of my skills, knowledge, and desire. And they did. They translated completely over. And I still look for kids by their values, their skills, and their knowledge, not by whether they worked for CAA or David Dunn or anyone.
Skills, knowledge, and desire. What were the biggest lessons you've learned through the adversity of 2008?
Value. So I live my life. I wake up every morning now, instead of trying to take and compete, there's no resistance in my life. I actually shifted the paradigm and said, you know what? I have a great gift. I'm going to start giving it, meaning I pray to God for 10 people that I can help every day. It's very simple. I work just as hard. I love to work. I enjoy the pursuit of my potential. But my goal in life is to provide value, and I trust the universe that it'll bring everything back to me that I asked for, and I've learned to ask big.
So you mentioned you're a former athlete, so you have that competitive spirit.
Let's not embarrass myself, right? I played in
hey, I claim it too, and I didn't get through anything past high school.
Right.
But you have that competitive spirit in you, that entrepreneurial spirit. That kind of started you, got you to where you're going, but then over time, maybe humbled by 2008, you learned to focus more on values and giving, and you feel like that's reciprocated pretty well for you.
Yeah, serve my way up, serve my way out. I still do. I trust in the fact that if I provide value, that the universe, it creates a void for the universe to fill, and it's much easier to fill that void than me making promises. And so all I do is stay focused in on the value that I can provide. I do believe in a consistent, everyday, persistent, without quit enjoyment of the pursuit of my potential.
You're on a show called The American Dream. Can I ask you what you believe the American Dream is?
American dream is to pursue your potential. I travel around the world, I speak around the world, and not everybody has the opportunity to enjoy the pursuit of their potential. You can come here with nothing. I was born with 6 kids and a single mom in a 2-bedroom apartment in Akron, Ohio. Wow. And by the time I was 9, I was living in San Diego, and by the time I was 25, I was a multimillionaire. I was afforded the luxury of pursuing my potential. It's the only thing standing between you and the American dream and your dream is you. Other countries, you can't say that.
Yep, love it. Wow. Dave, great interview. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Anytime. Thank you.
All right, more of the American Dream coming up next. Welcome back to the American Dream. There is no doubt about it, the real estate industry is under disruption and chaos. You have companies like Purple Bricks and Redfins trying to commoditize the industry to circumvent the realtor. I'm a big believer that to gain market share, you've got to be a great marketer, and with that disruption creates amazing opportunities. One of the best marketers I've ever met in real estate, Seth Byrne, joins us on the show right now. Seth, good to have you.
Yeah, thank you.
Just won a big award as it pertains specifically to the marketing of real estate.
Yeah, this was cool. Yeah, we stoked to talk about this. The San Diego Business Journal, obviously, the go-to publication for people in business right now.
Yep.
They do an award every year called the Best in Real Estate, and we were really proud because BOSA, when they were building Pacific Gate, identified a few key brokers that in the resale market, they wanted to help push the project along. Well, we did a whole video marketing series around Pacific Gate, and we're really happy to say San Diego Business Journal gave us best real estate deals for our marketing.
But let's be clear. Tell everyone real quickly what Pacific Gate is.
Yes. So Pacific Gate is the most expensive high-rise ever built in San Diego.
Yeah. So it's insane.
Yeah.
Couple of the amenities, share.
There's a yacht share, a private yacht share. So there's one yacht that everybody that's in the HOA has. You have a fleet of Porsches that you can drive, that you can take out on trade. There's something called a chef concierge, which has nothing to do with being a chef. It's a concierge that essentially does everything and anything you want. And so the penthouse sold for $15 million. It's what's called a super prime building, which is one of the rarest buildings for high rises at the highest level you could get to. And so we did hopefully a fairly inspired marketing project around it. But we were just excited because this year's been amazing for getting recognized for all the work we put in.
So marketing luxury real estate, which is a lot different than your median prices, whether it's in Southern California or all across the country. Now, The American Dream is a national television show. We're all across, I think, 23 cities now, from San Diego to New York City to Seattle to Dallas, all the way to the middle, and St. Louis and Cincinnati. And we always talk about how marketing is so important when it comes to properties, helping them get top dollar. What we've found through our network of power players, which is a trademark term on The American Dream, many of our elite luxury realtors in their markets are flying you there to market their properties, these 10, 20, $30+ million properties. Tell us some stuff you've done recently.
Yeah. So it's been an amazing, 2017 and 18 have been incredible for this. So, last year we went to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and advertised one of the most expensive homes ever constructed in Idaho on the lake. We were there for 3 days, created an amazing video with Sotheby's out there. Then we went up and worked with Wes Jones at Keller Williams on one of the most expensive houses on the market in the entire state of Washington. 4 houses on Lake Washington, unbelievable house. Then we went to Aspen, Colorado, and advertised a house that actually owns 400 acres on the backside of Ajax. So you actually own part of Aspen Mountain. Wow. There's no way you can be king of the hill if you're not the king of Aspen, right?
Yeah.
That's where the billionaires pushed out the millionaires. So we got hired to go out there and advertise $30 million in real estate in 48 hours. And just came back from, I believe, my favorite trip we've ever done, which is we went to Steamboat, Colorado, and we worked with Steamboat Sotheby's and all the brokers there, and used the ability for us now to make our content national with The American Dream, but craft really highly produced content around dual purpose marketing, right? Or kind of, we run these 2 marketing channels in parallel. One is chronicling to our 24,000 followers on Instagram and 20 other thousand followers on Facebook in the real estate arena like we chronicle in real time us flying out there, the experience of seeing this part of the world for the first time, is showcasing all these amazing properties. And then at the end of it, we come out with usually a series of like 5 to 10 videos. Partially, it's about us using our eyes in San Diego, real estate experts, but unfamiliar usually with the cities that we're going to, and seeing these homes for the first time and kind of seeing the effect it has on us and how inspired we are. And then a lot of videos just down and dirty, like marketing the property and creating a series of videos that we then help them figure out a sequencing plan with. So on Facebook, we can essentially create a click funnel for luxury clients. We've got one that we're doing right now on a $20 million property, and we have identified 4 billionaires in China and Japan through these marketing techniques that we've learned, and we know that they're watching the content, and we're just spoon feeding them the exact perfect content for that property. It's been incredibly successful. And I hope it's the beginning of lots of this.
No, it's fun to watch. So what Seth does better than anyone is he creates a story around the lifestyle of that property. And you would maybe call that content, right?
Sure.
A storyline, creating content. But then the distribution side of it is you're mentioning targeting billionaires in other parts of the world where not only are you creating this great story, but you're finding the people to put that story in front of. I don't know anyone doing this all across the country. And I've been traveling, meeting the best brokers everywhere and sitting right next to who I consider to be the best. So if you are selling a piece of luxury real estate, great guy to learn from. If you are a realtor, great guy to maybe reach out to. I've seen it firsthand. It's been a remarkable journey to watch. Seth Byrne,
cool.
Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
More of The American Dream coming up next. Well, as you know, The American Dream is a national program where we focus on business, the entrepreneurial spirit, overcoming adversity, finance, the market, all things that are relevant to empowering your American dream. But a big topic of conversation on this show is housing. So what we do is we integrate local, top-producing, award-winning realtors to cover a wide range of topics on that subject, different micro markets, different niche subject matter. Housing is such a big topic, so we're going to bring you a lot of information right now from some of the best in your market. Let's check out these interviews.
Welcome back to The American Dream. We've got a great segment for you this time. We are talking about technology, how it's affecting real estate, what we're doing to keep it prevalent, and we are talking with 2 special guests. I've got Denton and Guam. He's the owner and founder of the Dare Network with Keller Williams Realty. He's brought with him Jordan Espeseth. He is the owner and publisher of North DFW Real Producers, Jordan and Denton. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Yeah, thank you, Kara. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. So Denton, my first question's for you. With technology changing so fast, it's affecting your industry of real estate. How is this affecting your relationship with the consumer and the real estate community?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things going on very fast. It's both good and bad. A couple of numbers. Just in the last 2 years, 2016, 2017, there was just over $6 billion spent on real estate technology. That's more than the previous 5 years all combined. So there's a lot of companies, VCs coming in that want to change the industry for the good and some for the bad. It just depends on what side of the line you're on. This goes from lead generation systems to internal systems for your businesses to consumer-facing apps to even AI chatbots. So what we're doing for the consumer is really focusing on them. There is some great technology out there that we're focusing on to make sure that the consumer experience still stays at the forefront of the experience. And let me give you a couple examples. We want it to feel like you can just go to an app and do your entire process from your app, kind of like you do whenever you buy anything online these days. You kind of get updated through your app. You get all your notifications through your app. Everything is stored in your app. And I think today everybody uses their phone for pretty much almost everything. I even had a mentor ask, when you wake up, how fast do you go to your phone? Well, it's pretty fast. Another example is one thing with the app is we want real-time data. So let me give you an example of that, which is awesome. There's going to be real-time data. Let's say you buy a house and you have a loan on it, and rates drop to a certain level. And when rates drop to that level, you'll save money on your house if you were to refinance. Well, this app is going to tell you basically that day, hey, rates drop to this. If you refinance today, you'll save X amount of money over the next 15 to 20 years. Would you like to do it? And that is what is coming. That is the real-time data that is going to be consumer-facing.
That's awesome, I think, for consumers. So now, with technology moving so quickly, is there a way for us to still keep in touch with the print industry? I'm assuming, Jordan, that's what you're familiar with. Tell us about Real Producers.
Yeah. So Real Producers Magazine, we just launched 3 years ago. We're now in over 60 markets across the U.S. As we talked about, San Diego is one of them. And what we do in every market is we take the top 500 real estate agents based off of the MLS production, so true data, and we build an exclusive publication around those agents where we share their stories, successes, market trends, upcoming events, really anything that will connect, motivate, and inspire this top group of agents, we put within that publication. And that goes out every single month. And what we also do is every quarter we host an event. We invite the top 500, tell them to bring their teams. And it's a great place at a classy venue around DFW to have the best in the industry together, rubbing elbows, masterminding, and have a good time.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's the biggest value, I think, for the agents or the partners?
Yeah, absolutely. So in all of DFW, and Denton, correct me, I believe it's about 60,000 in the whole DFW market, licensed real estate agents.
Roughly, yeah.
And so our market is really the north portion of that, North DFW, and there's over 30,000 licensed real estate agents in that market. The top 500 are doing over 80% of the entire volume done. And so these agents, they're different. They operate at a totally different level. They have more knowledge. Their work ethic's different. And so for us to connect these agents together at a higher level, they can learn and grow and become better at what they do if they're mingling with these other top performers. And our publication allows to connect them. And the other thing is, for those who are featured, like Denton, I got right here. Denton was featured on the cover of our publication, and he was nominated. Denton's not paying us. He was nominated as his numbers are great. He's very well respected within the community, and so those who are featured within our publication, it's a huge testament to them and their business, and they'll use that as listing tools in the market and to grow their own business too.
So awesome. I love what you guys are doing, keeping people connected either on technology or through that awesome magazine, Real Producers. So Jordan and Denton, thank you so much for sharing what you've got going on over there in Dallas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Of course, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks so much for watching The American Dream. We'll be right back with more.
All right, welcome back to the show. We have a really special guest. She flew in from Dallas just for our interview here today. One of our power players of Dallas real estate, Tierney Jordan. Good to have you on the show.
Thanks for having me.
So you came all the way to America's finest city to be on this thing.
Yes, I'm excited.
Love it. And then we have a special guest that you've just introduced us to, is Cory, who is a personal trainer, self-made, kind of got his own American dream. Welcome to the show as well.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
So help us understand the connection here, and then I want to talk to you about real estate, and I want to talk about what you're doing with health and wellness, life coaching, and personal training. How'd you guys connect?
So I saw Cory on Khloe Kardashian's Revenge Body, and he was speaking, and I really liked how he trained and was interested in working with him. So I reached out through his website, and we met that way and ended up meeting in person. So
It's funny how that connection can get made in the world we live in today. You can go to someone's website, social media, all that. So where's your passion come from as far as helping others stay in shape? Where's your
It started
fuel for your fire?
Just from myself. Just wanted to be a better person. And I saw what I had the ability to be able to connect with people like me and Tierney did. And I started to do that with everyone and realized that it's not just about the physical, it's the mental, the emotional. It's the spiritual part of it that makes me do what I do, to make me connect with people, to make them grow. And that's, it became like more than just training, it was family. It was like instant, connection, and we've been doing it ever since.
I think maybe 5-10 years ago when people thought of working out, I was lifting weights, hitting the treadmill, but now you mentioned the mentality of it, spirituality, I think you've said. How do you feel like that plays in? Because I feel like the world has changed. I mean, I meditate every morning now. I think the world is shifted a bit as it pertains to health and wellness. What do you think?
I believe it's a mindset now. It's more than just the physical aspect of it, because think about going to a gym. Before you walk into the place, you have to make the decision whether or not I'm going to do it or not. You have to go in there with the right motivation and the right mindset, saying, you know what, I'm going to actually take the time to get things done right and not just be in a place where I'm just being here, not doing anything. So I think the mindset of it, and we live in the world of motivation, inspiration, and mindset now, it just makes you understand why people do what they do when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle. It's a mindset. It's a motivational game. It's inspiration that makes you want to do it.
Gotcha. How was it like being on a reality TV show?
I mean, it's my 3rd season, so I mean, it's pretty good.
Oh, really? So you've been on consistently each season?
Yeah, I'm the celebrity trainer. I train Michael B. Jordan, all the movies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right on, man.
I'm not your average LA fitness trainer.
Yeah, I get that. So, and you're a real estate guru. Let's not forget that. So you flew in from Dallas. You're one of our power players that we feature on the show there. How's the market going?
So the market's starting to shift a little bit.
Yeah.
I was just talking yesterday at a conference we did, and it's shifted somewhat towards a buyer's market. So it's slowing down really just because of the inventory. So as inventory increases, you have demand that goes down and pricing goes down slightly.
Yep.
So it hasn't all the way shifted like what we saw in 2008, 2009.
Yep.
But we're starting to see a little bit of a dip.
So one of the things I loved about Tierney when we met in Dallas was that you're not just a real estate expert, you're also kind of like Cory, you're a coach.
Yeah.
You're a coach for the industry. So B2B, you're helping other people across the country lift their game. Explain what you have going on there.
Yeah, so just excited to bring back more value to consumers. And it comes through education and training and coaching other real estate agents. So we're doing conferences throughout the United States. We just did one in Atlanta, we were in Arkansas, and we did one here and in Dallas this month. So.
And you're helping Cory with his real estate portfolio,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah.
How's that going?
I mean, it's a beginning stage.
Yeah.
It's new, but it's something, you know, I always wanted to get into, but I didn't know nobody, didn't know anything. And when I met Tierney, it was like, okay, she's in my life for a reason, for real now.
Yep.
And I'm excited about it to see, you know, the growth and see, you know, ready to attack the market.
Yeah, it's a piece of the American dream. It's not the whole American dream.
Yes.
And I love the message you bring here today, because it doesn't matter how much money you have or how successful you think you are. If you're not healthy and you don't feel good, then you're missing out on a big part of life. So awesome that you're doing that, Cory. Thanks for coming on the American Dream.
you.
Finishing out the year in real estate in Dallas, any predictions for us? What do you think?
I think the market's still going to stay strong. I mean, we have quite a good time for the shift to happen. So if sellers are thinking about selling, now is definitely the time to capitalize. And on the buyer side, the interest rates are still really good. So
Yeah.
there's still opportunity on both sides. And a lot of people think, oh, I shouldn't buy because I'm going to have to buy at the height of the market. But when you look at the numbers and you really calculate, okay, if I buy at a higher price point but a lower interest rate,
Yep.
and you look at the numbers over time, it makes more sense. So the market is still thriving. We are seeing a little bit of a dip, but it's still a great opportunity on both sides.
Thank you, Cory. Thank you, Tierney. Two great stories of the American Dream. Love it. All right, more of the show coming up next.
And now for the Mortgage Minute, we have Andy Tuttle with us. He is the branch manager of the Tuttle Group with Fairway Independent Mortgage. Andy, thank you so much for being back on the show.
Thanks for having me, Jen.
So Andy, my question for you today really pertains to self-employed individuals. How do they get ahead on the home buying process when they are self-employed?
It's a great question, and frankly, one of the things that you can do if you're self-employed, one of the problems you face, I should say, is that you want to write off as much as possible, right? That is legal, to make sure you don't overpay for taxes when you own a business. But when you go to buy a house, we have to go off tax returns when you're self-employed. And so if you're not claiming anything to the IRS, then we're not going to be able to qualify you for the home you want. So what you need to do is get with your CPA, plan a little bit more, a year out at least on filing taxes, sometimes 2 years, depending how long you've been in business. And you want to get with a lender and say, hey, I want to file my taxes. Here's the home price that I want. What do I need to make to qualify for this home? What is the qualification parameters? And once you get that information, you can go and talk to your CPA and make sure you're filing enough to minimize your tax burden, but also claiming enough to qualify for the home that you want.
Are there any pitfalls that we should be careful of?
Well, make sure you're doing it legally, and make sure that you are looking at your overall, as far as pitfalls concerned, when claiming your income, just make sure that you are not waiting until the last minute, and make sure that if you are starting new businesses or have multiple businesses, that those businesses aren't claiming too big of losses, or the CPAs make sure to putting those on the capital loss line so it doesn't look like a recurring expense, because you can add those losses back in.
Sure. Fine line that we have to walk. Andy, thank you so much. Great advice today.
Thank you.
And now for our title tip of the day, I want to welcome back our title partner, Zach Sams with Kensington Vanguard, National Title of Texas. Zach, thank you so much for being back on the show.
Glad to be back, Jen. Thank you.
So Zach, I see you've brought along a very special person to help you along with this series that we're doing on title.
Yes, I did. This is Christy Blagg. She is our senior escrow officer and our residential team lead here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And last week I kind of explained, how the title process gets started. Once a contract is executed, that's when the title company enters the picture. And I've asked Christy to come along and just kind of take us to that next step on the front end processing of a file and what the consumer can expect when they enter the title company and what's going to happen as they move towards closing on their new property.
Welcome to the show, Christy.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Zach. I'm excited to share some information with you guys. So now that our partners and consumers have trusted Kensington Vanguard with their contract and look to us for answers on getting them to closing, our team that we have in place is very knowledgeable and will start to process their contract, which means we have to gather lots of information from the consumer and their realtor partners in order to make that happen. We'll be reaching out to our clients for things such as surveys, for homeowners association information, for payoff information, for home warranty contacts, and other miscellaneous and very private information that we'll do via phone, because we do want to make sure that their private information is kept confidential and secure. So as we do that, we reach out and we contact them directly and build that relationship and that communication that's very, very crucial in the beginning stages of getting to know our clients, so that we build that right before we get into the process of making our way to the final stages of closing.
Sure. Well, thank you so much, Christy, for setting up some of our expectations on that front. And I will see you next time, Zach.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jen. Talk soon.
Thank you.
All right, that's all for the American Dream. Thank you so much for checking us out. Remember, our goal is to educate, empower, and engage your American Dream. Don't forget, we love you to breathe oxygen into this message. Follow us on social media, and don't forget, we'll catch you next time. See you next week.